The vast chamber of the Galactic Empire's High Council glowed with holographic displays showing a small blue planet. Admiral Grant stood before the council, his golden uniform reflecting the soft light as he gestured toward the projection. "Another primitive world," he said, his voice carrying notes of boredom. "They've barely reached their own moon. Perfect for integration into the Empire." The council members, representing the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy, nodded in agreement. For 10,000 years, they had ruled without challenge, absorbing countless civilizations into their domain. Earth would be no different. But Commander Bell, standing in the shadows of the chamber, noticed something odd in the data streams. The humans' rate of technological advancement didn't follow normal patterns. While most species took thousands of years to progress from steam power to spaceflight, humans had done it in less than 3 centuries. He kept his concerns to himself. After all, who was he to question the wisdom of the High Council? The Empire's initial scans showed a planet divided into nations, still fighting among themselves. Their weapons were primitive: nuclear devices and chemical propulsion. Their space presence was minimal: a few orbital stations and a small base on their red neighbor planet. "Send the standard conquest fleet," ordered High Counselor Rex. 100 ships should be more than enough for a show of force." Admiral Grant bowed and left to prepare his fleet. As he walked through the crystalline corridors of the Imperial Palace, he reviewed the data on his neural interface. Earth's military capabilities seemed laughable compared to Imperial standards. Their most powerful weapons could barely scratch Imperial shields, and their fastest ships would take years to reach the nearest star. In the fleet preparation bay, thousands of troops boarded their ships. The Empire's soldiers, enhanced with biotechnology and wrapped in powered armor, could each fight 100 primitive warriors. Their weapons could level cities, and their shields could withstand any known force in the galaxy. Commander Bell, now assigned to Admiral Grant's flagship, continued his analysis of human history. Something about their warfare techniques disturbed him. Unlike other species who developed in predictable patterns, humans showed an unusual talent for adaptation. They had gone from fighting with metal swords to splitting atoms in an impossibly short time. "Admiral," Bell said during the final briefing, "perhaps we should send probe droids first. The human shows some unusual characteristics." Admiral Grant laughed. "Commander, I've led 63 conquest campaigns. Every primitive species looks unique in some way, but they all fall the same way: quickly and completely." The fleet launched from the Imperial capital world, its 100 ships stretching for kilometers across space. Each vessel carried enough firepower to reduce a continent to ash. They entered faster than light travel, their engines tearing holes in reality itself. During the journey, the ship's AI compiled more data about Earth. It noted the humans' strange habit of creating entertainment about alien invasions. In most of these stories, the humans won against impossible odds. The AI flagged this as an interesting cultural anomaly, but assigned it no strategic importance. What no one in the Empire realized was that these weren't just stories. They were battle plans. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for this moment, hiding their true capabilities behind a facade of primitive technology. As the Imperial fleet approached the Sol system, they detected no unusual activity. Earth's primitive sensors shouldn't even be able to detect their approach. The humans appeared to be going about their normal activities, unaware of the doom approaching their world. Admiral Grant stood on his bridge, preparing to give the speech he had given 63 times before. The speech that would inform another primitive world of their new status as Imperial subjects. He smiled, already thinking about the medals he would receive for this routine conquest. But in secret bunkers deep beneath Earth's surface, in hidden bases on Mars, and in stealth stations throughout the solar system, humans were also smiling. They had detected the Imperial fleet the moment it entered the system. Their quantum sensors, carefully hidden from view, tracked every Imperial ship. General Stone of the United Earth Defense Force looked at his own holographic display, showing the positions of Imperial ships. "And so they come," he said quietly, "exactly as we planned." He opened a channel to all Earth's hidden forces. Operation Welcome Party is now in effect. Show these Empire folks what humans are really made of. The Empire was about to learn why every advanced civilization in the galaxy should fear humans, not the other way around. Admiral Grant's voice boomed across Earth's communication channels. "Primitive species of Earth, your world is now part of the Galactic Empire. Surrender your weapons and prepare for integration." In the United Earth Defense Bunker, General Stone watched the transmission with a slight smile. The bunker, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, was one of Earth's most secure facilities. Massive screens showed the positions of the Imperial fleet, now holding position just beyond the moon's orbit. "They really have no idea, do they?" said Colonel West, Stone's second-in-command. "Should we show them our little surprise?" General Stone shook his head. "Not yet. Let them make the first move. Follow the plan." Above Earth, Admiral Grant waited for the expected response: panic, pleading, or immediate surrender. Instead, there was only silence. He frowned, checking his instruments. "Are they receiving our transmission?" "Yes, Admiral," Commander Bell replied. "They're receiving, but—" He paused, studying his readings. "Sir, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from their orbital stations." "Irrelevant," Grant snapped. "Send the warning shot. Target their largest space station." The Imperial flagship's main cannon charged up, its energy readings off the scale. The beam lashed out, a brilliant purple streak aimed at the International Space Station Alpha. What happened next made Commander Bell's jaw drop. The beam struck what appeared to be empty space several kilometers in front of the station. A hexagonal grid of energy flickered into existence, absorbing the blast completely. The shield, invisible until struck, glowed briefly before fading away. "Impossible," Admiral Grant shouted. "They're supposed to be primitive. Where did they get shield technology?" On Earth, General Stone pressed a button on his command console. "This is Earth's response to your demand." No. The Empire's sensors suddenly came alive with warnings. What they had thought were simple communication satellites revealed themselves as weapon platforms. The primitive orbital stations transformed, panels sliding away to reveal missile batteries and energy weapons. "Sir," Commander Bell's voice was urgent. "Multiple weapons locked on our position." Admiral Grant straightened his uniform. "Their weapons are nothing compared to our shields. Let them try." Earth's first volley wasn't missiles or energy beams. Instead, thousands of tiny objects accelerated toward the Imperial fleet. The Empire sensors classified them as debris, too small to be threats. They were wrong. The tiny projectiles, each no bigger than a coin, carried antimatter cores. When they struck the Imperial shields, the resulting explosion sent shockwaves through the fleet. 3 smaller ships lost shield power completely. "What kind of primitives have antimatter weapons?" Grant roared. "All ships, return fire." But the Earth forces were already moving. The orbital platforms vanished, revealing advanced stealth systems. The International Space Station split into multiple sections, each section becoming its own heavily armed vessel. From the dark side of the moon, Earth's real space fleet emerged. Ships that had been hidden for decades, built in secret using technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien vessels. They weren't as large as Imperial ships, but they were faster and more maneuverable. Commander Bell watched in horror as Earth's ships executed perfect combat maneuvers. "Sir, their tactics. They're using Imperial battle formations, but improved." "Impossible," Grant whispered. "They couldn't know." "But we do." General Stone's voice came through on all channels. "We've been studying you for 50 years. Every crashed scout ship, every piece of debris, every transmission. We learned from all of it. We knew you were coming. We've been ready for generations." The battle that followed was short but fierce. Earth's ships darted between the larger Imperial vessels, their weapons precisely targeting shield generators and weapon systems. The primitive humans displayed combat techniques that had taken the Empire millennia to develop. When it was over, 15 Imperial ships were severely damaged, and 5 had been destroyed completely. The rest of the fleet retreated to a safe distance, their commanders in shock. Admiral Grant stared at the battle damage reports in disbelief. In all his years of conquest, he had never seen anything like this. These humans weren't just fighting back, they were winning. "Send word to the Empire," he ordered quietly. Tell them we found something new, something dangerous." In his mountain bunker, General Stone watched the Imperial fleet regroup. "And that," he said to his staff, "was just our orbital defense force. Wait until they meet our actual navy." The first battle was over. The war was just beginning, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy why they should have stayed away from Earth. Deep within Mars Base Alpha, Captain Ryan took a deep breath as he looked at his crew. His stealth ship, the Ghost, was Earth's most advanced vessel, designed specifically for one purpose: hunting Imperial ships. "Listen up," he addressed his crew. "Today we show these Empire folks why you don't mess with humans. They think we're cornered in our own solar system. Let's prove them wrong." The Ghost and 5 sister ships waited in Mars' shadow, their quantum stealth systems making them invisible even to Imperial sensors. These ships represented humanity's best-kept secret: the ability to travel faster than Imperial vessels. Admiral Grant's battered fleet had retreated to Jupiter's orbit, regrouping after their humiliating defeat at Earth. His ship's command center was filled with nervous officers analyzing the human threat. "Sir," Commander Bell reported, "supply lines are established. Reinforcements will arrive in 3 days." Grant nodded grimly. "Good. This time we'll—" The alarm klaxons cut him off. 6 human ships appeared from nowhere, already inside the Imperial fleet's formation. Their arrival was impossible. No known species could pull off such precise, faster-than-light jumps. "All ships, battle stations," Grant shouted, but it was too late. Captain Ryan's voice echoed through every Imperial communication channel. Surprise! The Ghost and its sister ships moved like dancers through the Imperial formation. Their weapons weren't just powerful. They were precise. Each shot disabled key systems, rather than destroying ships outright. "Sir," Bell's voice cracked with panic. "They're not using standard targeting systems. Their accuracy, it's impossible." What the Empire didn't know was that each human ship carried an AI combat system, processing targeting solutions thousands of times faster than organic crews. These AIs had spent decades studying Imperial ship designs, learning every weakness. The Ghost sliced through the Imperial formation, its quantum torpedoes phasing through shields to materialize inside engine rooms. 3 Imperial cruisers went dark, their power cores safely contained but completely disabled. "How?" Grant demanded. "How are they doing this?" The answer was simple. Humans had been preparing for this war since they first detected Imperial signals a century ago. Every piece of technology, every tactical innovation, was designed specifically to counter Imperial strengths. Back on Earth, General Stone watched the battle through quantum-entangled sensors. "Send in Phase 2, he ordered. From Saturn's rings, where they'd been hiding for months, 30 more human ships emerged. These weren't stealth vessels. They were battleships, built in secret using upgraded Imperial technology. "Admiral," Bell's voice shook, "the humans, they're using our own weapon designs, but they're more advanced than ours." Grant watched in horror as the human battleships opened fire. Their weapons were familiar: Imperial plasma cannons and particle beams, but modified in ways his engineers claimed were impossible. "Fall back," Grant ordered. "All ships, emergency retreat." But Captain Ryan wasn't finished. The Ghost appeared directly in front of Grant's flagship, its hull gleaming with a material that absorbed all scanner beams. "Going somewhere?" Ryan's transmission carried a hint of amusement. "We haven't shown you our best tricks yet." The Ghost fired a single shot, a new weapon that the Empire had never seen. A bubble of distorted space-time enveloped Grant's flagship, cutting it off from the rest of the fleet. "What is this?" Grant demanded. "We call it a time-lock field," Ryan replied. "Don't worry, it's temporary, just long enough for your fleet to watch what happens next." The human battleships herded the Imperial fleet like sheepdogs corralling sheep. Any ship that tried to jump to faster-than-light travel found their drives mysteriously malfunctioning. Another human innovation. In just 30 minutes, the mighty Imperial fleet was reduced to a collection of drifting hulks. No ships were destroyed, but none could fight or flee. "Remember this day," General Stone's voice broadcast to all Imperial ships. "Remember that humans don't just fight wars. We revolutionize them. This is your one warning. Leave Earth alone." When the time-lock field dropped, Admiral Grant found his fleet in ruins, surrounded by human ships that hadn't existed in any Imperial database. "Send the message," he told Bell quietly. "Tell the Empire. Tell them we've awakened something that should have been left sleeping." The humans had won their first major offensive, and the galaxy was about to learn why Earth's history of constant warfare had created something unprecedented. A species that had turned war itself into an art form. The Imperial High Council's emergency session was interrupted by new reports. On the main display, images from their deep space probes revealed something impossible. Human military installations across multiple planets and moons and systems the Empire didn't even know humans had reached. Dr. Wells stood in his laboratory beneath Europa's icy surface, watching his team prepare their latest weapon. The massive chamber, carved from the moon's frozen core, housed Project Thunderbolt, humanity's answer to Imperial energy weapons. "Status report," he called out to his chief engineer. "The quantum cascade is stable," she replied. "The Empire won't know what hit them." Meanwhile, Admiral Grant's reinforcement fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system. 500 ships, the largest Imperial force assembled in centuries. Their orders were simple: crush the human resistance at any cost. "Full sensor sweep," the new fleet commander ordered. "We won't be surprised again." But they were already being washed. Hidden in artificial asteroids throughout the system, human quantum sensors tracked every Imperial movement. General Stone's holographic image appeared in military commands across a dozen worlds. "They took the bait," he announced. "Begin Operation Phoenix." On Mars, massive doors opened in the red planet's surface. What the Empire had thought were simple colonies were actually the largest military manufacturing centers humanity had ever built. Ships began rising from underground hangars, thousands of them. "Impossible," the Imperial fleet commander whispered, watching his sensor displays light up. They couldn't have hidden this much firepower. But they had. For decades, humanity had been building, preparing, waiting. Every civilian space mission had carried military components. Every research station was a disguised fortress. Dr. Wells activated Project Thunderbolt. Across the solar system, hidden emitters came online. The fabric of space itself began to vibrate with new energy. "Target locked," his engineer reported. "Firing in 3, 2, 1. The Empire's advanced shields meant nothing against what came next. Beams of concentrated quantum energy, manipulating the fundamental forces of reality, lanced through their formation. Ships didn't explode. They simply ceased to exist, their matter converted to energy. "By the ancestors," Commander Bell gasped, watching from his new posting on the Imperial flagship. "They've weaponized physics itself." The human counterattack was unlike anything in Imperial military history. Ships emerged from hidden bases on Titan, Callisto, and even Pluto. Each vessel carried weapons that shouldn't have been possible for centuries. "You still don't understand, do you?" General Stone's transmission reached every Imperial ship. "We've been reverse engineering your technology and improving it for generations. Everything you see here, it's what your technology could have been if you hadn't become complacent." In the asteroid belt, Automated factories that the Empire had dismissed as mining operations revealed their true purpose. Swarms of combat drones, each carrying human AI systems, joined the battle. The Imperial fleet's formation broke. Their tactics, unchanged for millennia, were useless against an enemy that had studied them for decades and developed specific counters for each one. "Fall back," the fleet commander ordered. "All ships, emergency retreat." But retreat wasn't possible. Dr. Wells's quantum network had created a localized space-time anomaly. The Empire's fastest ships were trapped, forced to fight at normal space speeds against an enemy that had prepared for this exact moment. "Send the footage," General Stone ordered. "Let every Imperial world see what happens when they underestimate humanity." The battle wasn't just a victory, it was a demonstration. Humanity showed the galaxy that they hadn't just matched Imperial technology, they had surpassed it. When it was over, the mighty Imperial fleet was in ruins. The few surviving ships were allowed to retreat, carrying with them recordings of their defeat. In his Europa laboratory, Dr. Wells watched the Imperial ships flee. "Should we show them the rest of our arsenal?" he asked over the command channel. "Not yet," General Stone replied. "Let them think about what they've seen. Let them wonder what else we might have hidden away." The Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humanity by their visible technology, never imagining that humans had learned the greatest military lesson of all. The best weapons are the ones your enemy doesn't know you have until it's too late. As the Imperial survivors limped home, they carried with them a terrifying realization. They hadn't found a primitive species to conquer. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had been preparing for war since before they even knew Earth existed. Deep in Imperial space, on a planet called Prime, the ruling council of the Galactic Empire faced an unprecedented crisis. Reports from surviving ships had spread across their territory, and for the first time in their history, fear gripped the Empire's worlds. "The humans," a council member spoke, his voice trembling. "They're not just fighting us. They're teaching our subject worlds that we can be defeated." On dozens of conquered planets, alien species watched recordings of Imperial ships falling to human weapons. In secret meetings, resistance leaders studied human battle tactics. Hope, dangerous and contagious, began to spread. Admiral Black, commanding Earth's first deep space assault fleet, studied the holographic map of Imperial territory. Unlike the Empire's rigid command structure, humans had adopted a flexible approach. Each ship captain had full authority to adapt and improvise. "All ships, execute Operation Wildfire," he ordered. The human fleet didn't attack military targets. Instead, they appeared above Imperial propaganda centers, broadcasting the truth about Earth's victories. They showed alien worlds that resistance wasn't futile. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving signals from 12 different species. They're asking for human assistance against the Empire." In the Imperial Palace, panic set in as reports arrived from across their territory. The humans weren't just winning battles, they were waging psychological warfare on a galactic scale. General Stone's message played on every communication channel in Imperial space. "To all species under Imperial rule, watch and learn. Freedom is possible. The Empire is not invincible." The impact was immediate. On the industrial world of Prime Beta, factory workers sabotaged Imperial warship production. On the mining colonies of the Outer Rim, alien slaves began using human tactics to fight their masters. "This is worse than military defeat," an Imperial commander told his superiors. "The humans are destroying our authority itself." But humanity's true mastery of warfare showed in what they didn't do. They'd never occupied Imperial worlds. They never tried to replace the Empire's rule with their own. Instead, they taught other species how to fight for themselves. "Let the Empire chase shadows," Admiral Black told his captains. "Every time they think they found us, we'll be somewhere else, spreading the seeds of rebellion." Dr. Wells, monitoring from Europa, activated the next phase of Earth's plan: quantum communication devices, secretly distributed throughout Imperial space, activated. Suddenly, every oppressed species could coordinate their resistance without the Empire intercepting their signals. The Imperial High Council received a new report that made them truly understand their mistake. Human diplomatic ships had begun visiting neutral worlds, sharing technology and forming alliances. They're not just defeating us militarily, a council member realized. They're replacing our entire galactic order. In Earth's solar system, General Stone watched the Empire's reaction with satisfaction. Humans don't just win wars, he told his staff. We change the rules of the game itself. The Empire launched a massive operation to contain the spreading rebellion. But everywhere their ships went, they found local populations using human tactics and technology. Their own subject species had become their most dangerous enemy. Admiral Black's fleet appeared above the Empire's largest shipyard. But instead of attacking, they broadcast a simple message to the alien workers. You don't have to serve them anymore. Here's how to take control of your own destiny. The Empire had expected a war of ships and weapons. Instead, they found themselves fighting an idea, the idea that their rule wasn't inevitable or unbeatable. Send word to all Imperial forces, the High Council ordered in desperation. The humans must be stopped before more worlds fall. But it was too late. Humanity had shown the galaxy a new path. Imperial dominance, maintained for thousands of years through fear and superior technology, was crumbling. General Stone received reports from across Imperial space. 20 worlds in open rebellion, 30 more secretly preparing to fight, and dozens of alien species requesting human training and technology. The Empire made one fundamental mistake, he told Earth's leaders. They thought war was about weapons and territory. We showed the galaxy it's really about hearts and minds. As the Empire scrambled to maintain control, humanity's influence spread like wildfire through their territory. The warning was clear. Humans hadn't just mastered the art of war. They had revolutionized it, turning the Empire's own subjects into their greatest weakness. The galaxy would never be the same. The Imperial capital world shook with unprecedented chaos. In the Grand Strategic Command Center, panicked officers watched as their holographic displays turned red with reports of defeats and rebellions across their territory. Another fleet lost in the Orient sector, an officer reported, his voice hollow. The humans, they gave the local resistance our own shield frequencies. The Empire's mighty fleets, undefeated for thousands of years, were falling one by one. Not just to human forces, but to their own former subjects who now wielded human weapons and tactics. Admiral Black's human fleet appeared above yet another Imperial stronghold. This time, they didn't even need to fire a shot. The local garrison, seeing human ships, simply surrendered. You don't understand what you've done, an Imperial commander told his human captors. The Empire brought order to the galaxy. No, replied Captain Turner of the human flagship. You brought stagnation. We're bringing evolution. On Earth, General Stone reviewed the latest intelligence. The Empire had lost 30% of its territory in just 2 months. Not to human conquest, but to revolution. Every defeated Imperial ship provided new technology for Earth's engineers to improve and redistribute to resistance forces. Sir, his aide reported, the Imperial War Council is meeting in emergency session. Our spies report they're considering something unprecedented. In the Imperial Palace, the unthinkable was being discussed. For the first time in their history, the Empire was contemplating retreat. We cannot defeat them, the High Marshal admitted. The humans don't just copy our technology, they improve it. Every defeat makes them stronger. Dr. Wells, working from his Europa laboratory, had cracked the Empire's most closely guarded secrets. Their quantum drives, their shield systems, their weapons, all were now being produced in human factories, enhanced with innovations the Empire had never imagined. The Empire stopped advancing centuries ago, he explained to resistance leaders from across the galaxy. They thought they'd reached perfection. Humans never make that mistake. We always look for ways to improve. The Empire launched one final, massive counterattack. 3,000 ships, their entire reserve fleet, jumped into Earth's solar system. They expected to find humanity's homeworld vulnerable. Instead, they found a trap. Human ships emerged from hyperspace all around them, using improved versions of Imperial technology. The resistance forces they trained and equipped attacked from another direction. Even the asteroid belt seemed to come alive with hidden weapon platforms. "Now," ordered General Stone, "show them our latest innovation." Dr. Wells activated his quantum field generators. Space itself seemed to twist around the Imperial fleet. Their advanced shields, copied from thousand-year-old designs, meant nothing against weapons that bent reality itself. "Impossible," the Imperial commander whispered as his ship's systems failed one by one. "We had 1,000 years to perfect our technology. How could they surpass us so quickly?" The answer was simple. Humans had never stopped innovating. Every defeat taught them new lessons. Every captured ship provided new opportunities for improvement. While the Empire had built its power on stability and tradition, humanity thrived on change and adaptation. In the aftermath of the battle, the Empire's War Council made history. For the first time, they drafted a document of surrender, not to human rule, but to human influence. "Let it be recorded," the document began, "that the Galactic Empire acknowledges humanity's right to independence and innovation." But humanity didn't want the Empire's surrender. Instead, General Stone sent back a different proposal: partnership. "Your empire is falling," he transmitted to the Imperial capital. "Not because we destroyed it, but because you refuse to grow. Join us in creating something new, or watch your power crumble completely." The Empire's response would shape the galaxy's future. Their choice was clear: adapt or fade into history. As Imperial ships retreated from human space, they carried with them a lesson that would echo through generations. The most dangerous species in the galaxy weren't those with the strongest weapons or the largest fleets, but those who never stopped learning, never stopped improving, and never accepted limitations. The Empire had ruled through power. Humanity had won through progress. And now, the galaxy waited to see what would rise from the ashes of the old order. The retreat wasn't just military, it was philosophical. The Empire's age of stagnation was over. The human age of innovation had begun. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council, once dominated by Imperial representatives, now hosted a different gathering. Species from across the galaxy, former Imperial subjects, neutral worlds, and even Imperial citizens, watched as humanity took its place among the stars. General Stone stood before the assembled delegates, his uniform bearing both Earth's insignia and new symbols of galactic cooperation. The Empire's surrender wasn't just a military victory. It marked the beginning of a new era. "We didn't come here to rule," he addressed the gathering. "We came to learn, to grow, and to help others do the same." In Earth's orbit, a new station was under construction. Unlike the Empire's fortresses, this was a center for galactic cooperation. Ships from 100 worlds brought scientists, engineers, and diplomats to share knowledge and technology. Dr. Wells led the first galactic research initiative. The Empire's mistake, he explained to alien colleagues, wasn't their technology. It was their belief that they had nothing left to learn. The Imperial delegation, now just one voice among many, watched as their former subjects forged alliances with Earth. Human diplomatic ships traveled to every corner of known space, not to conquer but to connect. "Attention all species," the official Earth broadcast began. "This is humanity's warning about war. Don't start one unless you're ready to face an enemy who learns from every battle and grows stronger with every defeat." Admiral Black, now leading the new Galactic Defense Force, oversaw joint military exercises. Human tactics and technology merged with alien abilities and insights, creating something entirely new. "The Empire taught us what not to do," he told his mixed-species crew. "They tried to enforce uniformity. We're building strength through diversity." On former imperial worlds, a transformation was underway. Ancient restrictions on technology and innovation were lifted. Species that had been subjugated for millennia began developing their own unique contributions to galactic civilization. Remember this, General Stone told the Council. Earth doesn't want subjects or servants. We want partners and peers. The Empire's last act was to issue a formal warning to all spacefaring civilizations. The species known as humans must not be underestimated. They don't just fight wars, they revolutionize them. They don't just use technology, they reinvent it. But humanity's greatest victory wasn't military or technological. It was cultural. Across the galaxy, societies began adopting Earth's most powerful trait, the drive to constantly improve and innovate. Dr. Wells opened the first Galactic Science Academy on Mars. The Empire thought they had reached perfection. He told his first class of multi-species students, "We know better. There's always more to learn, always room to grow." The peace treaty wasn't just a document. It was a blueprint for the future. Earth helped establish new trade routes, shared technological innovations, and encouraged every species to develop their own unique strengths. "We're not creating an empire," Admiral Black explained to Concerned Neutral Worlds. "We're building a community." In the Empire's former capital, now a museum of galactic history, visitors studied the lesson that had changed everything. The most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the biggest weapons, but the one who never stops learning from their mistakes. General Stone made one final address to the new Galactic Council. "Let this be our legacy. Not that we defeated an empire, but that we helped create something better. Not that we won a war, but that we showed a better way to live in peace." The galaxy entered a new age. The rigid hierarchy of imperial rule was replaced by a network of cooperative alliances. Every world was encouraged to contribute its unique insights and innovations. Humanity's warning about war became the foundation of galactic peace. Before you fight humans, remember, we don't just win battles. We learn from them. We grow stronger. And we never, ever stop improving. The Empire had ruled through fear. Earth led through inspiration. Where imperial law had demanded obedience, human influence encouraged innovation. As ships from 100 worlds gathered around Earth's new diplomatic station, the galaxy witnessed something unprecedented. A power that grew stronger by helping others grow, a civilization that advanced by encouraging others to advance with them. The age of the Empire was over. The human age, an age of endless possibility and constant evolution, had begun. And somewhere in deep space, other civilizations received the message. Don't fight humans unless you're ready to face an enemy that turns every defeat into a lesson, every battle into an opportunity, and every war into a revolution.